So we are back. We have an Uber session open. To give you some idea, it's 66 tracks.
66 tracks, yeah.
I won't say we've thrown the proverbial kitchen sink at it.
No, I think we've been respectful in the mix. We've actually tried to make it sound good and pleasing to the ear as opposed to just throwing the kitchen sink at it.
Yeah, because
it's still 66 tracks. I mean, that's still...
We could have gone completely OTT,
yeah,
but we haven't, which is rare for us.
Yeah, but it's, I mean, you know, well, we'll start discussing what's on there, but it's...
So, the drums are... This is a track that I did a little while ago, actually for an Avid project for a demonstration. But, so it's a track by the Alan Parsons Project called Damned If I Do. So, if Alan's watching, thank you. So, we've gone for SSL 4K on the kit. We've put some Fatso on my amazing compression channel, and we've slammed it, quite frankly.
Yeah, yeah.
4K bus compressor on the drums, Bax EQ.
Yep.
Using one of Fab DuPont's presets. Thanks, Fab. Drum verb. We've gone over the top. I would normally not bother with individual reverbs and things like that, but because we can, we have. Lexicon 224 for the drums. Basses are both going through the soft tube amp room, which I love, and again 4K bus compressor for that. Electric piano is all the instruments are from Expand, so we haven't gone ludicrous on samples or anything like that. Again, we're using the 4K channel strip on the piano.
What are we up to? It's over 150 grand or so.
Oh, easy! It just gets ridiculous. Acoustic guitars, there's 6 tracks of acoustics, plus a separate acoustic reverb. We're using the 4K, again, for the acoustic guitar channels.
Yep. The
Summit limiter for our kind of massaging, gelling, whatever. EMT 250.
Love it.
Fatso on the 2 electrics. Went a bit more on the sort of wild electric with some Dimension D and some Space Echo. The lead guitar lines, we'll let you listen to some of this in a second.
Yeah.
We've got the Very Mew and some MXR flanger on both channels. The vocal we did hit a bit harder.
Yeah.
Very Mew, the greatest EQ ever. So thank you to Cliff Marg and his team for creating probably the best EQ ever. Some LA2A on the vocal, some Studer A800, a little bit of delay from
it's the UA one.
UACS1, yeah. And then some de-esser just to get rid of stuff, but we didn't use too much of that in the end. No. It really wasn't that brutal.
And some room verb.
Yeah, some which we've the room verb we have used is the Ocean Way because we thought we'd try it. We're using it in reverb mode, not in re-mic mode.
In love with that now. Yeah,
liking that a great deal. Using all the mics. Hey, you know, what can go wrong? We've got a C12, an M50 and a KSM 54. Again, there's 20 grand's worth of mics alone.
Yeah, yeah.
So, on the backing vocals, again, Marg EQ with some Neve 33609, massaging compression. Again, we're not really hitting anything that hard. I think we're being quite tender with it, trying to just keep the dynamics...
Musical.
Trying to keep the dynamics... steady, someone will hear you. So, for the violins and for the strings, it was sounding a bit harsh, wasn't it, before?
Yeah.
So, we said, well, you know, we've got all this lovely power left.
Neve magic.
Neve RS, 88 RS across pretty much everything.
Yeah.
With a bit of Marg EQ4 just to take off some of that top end. And the air band does a lot for the top end usually. We want to pull it back but keep that brightness with the air band. So you lose the harshness of the kind of the scrapey string sound. Sorry, Dad. With the Marg EQ4, we've just managed to do that on. We've pretty much, we just got to the point where it was getting ridiculous and we started to run out of time. So in an hour and a half, we've put a 66 channel mix together.
Yes.
Which sounds kind of bonkers. There's a lot of strings. Brass, again, the Neve 88, all pretty much using, it's all presets. We've worked fast and hard. Then a little bit of work on the synth strings just to, again, make them gel and make them glue together a bit more.
Yeah.
Bus compressor on there, and then the last bit of any real interest is the fact we used an ATR 102 tape, which actually has really gelled it all together. I know we talk about mixing to...
Well, yeah, you know, there's all these words like tape and warmth and analog, but I think for the digital domain, it's pretty jaw-dropping, really.
Yeah, I'm loving it. And then we've just put a limiter over it just to make sure I don't do anything silly. Not a character limiter, just the standard precision limiter from UA. And it sounds...
And Rogers and Ivey Mix Lab was born.
Boom. How very sad of me. Now, this is the important bit.
Yeah.
This is the really cool bit. So we've used nothing but UA plugins. We've not scrimped. Yeah, we could have probably put a few more things on drums and stuff like that. But
this is a real world test. So we could have done it just for the sake of doing it, you know. And, you know, with all due respect, we're not a pair of professional mastering engineers. So we've done it musically to what, you know, we think sounds good.
That's the killer.
Yeah.
I know we've got a lot of power here, but if we bring in... Okay, we have touched every single card.
Yeah. Well, once again, this goes back to the load balancing. And I think, you know, well, we didn't hit one pop or click or brick wall or anything. It was... The whole thing has been like you're adding the first plug-in each time, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's been quick.
Yeah.
Now, we have got an uber ridiculous amount of cards,
yeah.
But I think we could have done that on 3.
Yeah, I think 4 to be definitely safe, because that's giving you a bit of headroom.
But I think also, what's possibly as interesting is I was learning plugins as we were doing this.
Yeah.
Because normally I would go for different reverbs, different compressors, different limiters.
Or mentally, you know, something that's really power hungry and like, oh, maybe I won't use too many of those, or maybe I won't even use that. Maybe I'll just bounce it quickly and then turn it off. When you're working this, I think, sort of freely, that's when maybe you look at stuff a bit differently. And I don't think we're trying to say to anybody out there, you need to go and buy a Cubix 6.
However, I know someone who can sell you a Cubix if that helps.
And we know somebody that can sell you a UA card, but or 6.
Or 6, yeah. But
cheaper than an Eve desk.
Yeah.
And an SSL.
Yeah. And all the hardware. So, let's have a listen to it, and then we'll solo bits and pieces as we go through, because I think some of it actually sounds pretty good. The drum sound is really good. I'm really happy with that. It's fat.
Super fat.
I ain't got a heart of gold. I'm hurting more now than you'll ever know. And you mean the things you said.
Vocal sound is good. I like that.
I'm gonna wind up out of my head. I can't sleep alone at night.
I think this actually...
I just can't seem to get it right. I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't, but I love you. I don't wanna tie you down.
It's the fatso lifting it out a little.
Surprised if I ask you to stay. I can't sleep alone at night. I just can't seem to get it right. Damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't, but I love you.
I'm loving that Ocean Wave. Sounds so good.
I said I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't, 'cause I love you.
Starsky and Hutch.
Meets the professionals. And the strings we have to really work on, don't we? It sounds good. I mean, yes, we could finesse it and we could put some automation and things like that if we had another couple of hours. But quite frankly, I'm happy with the static mix.
I think it's nothing short of amazing to have that quality that quickly. As I said, we're not a pair of mastering engineers. Okay, we kind of know bits and bobs. You know more than I do, but to have that amount of power at your hands with that quality and have the freedom to be able to use it, I think is nothing short of amazing. So. Fair play.
So there you go. Possibly the most ridiculous test we've done yet.
That's up there. It's definitely the most expensive test we've done so far. We keep on going up a few thousand on each mission. Okay,
so we know that UA are very good at doing deals, and we know they are great at bundling in software and their plugins with their cards, with the hardware. Yeah. So give us some numbers on the Cubix.
The Cubix, unfortunately, isn't the cheapest bit of kit. I'm not going to make any bones about it. 2295 ex VAT.
That's English pounds.
English pounds. We import them directly from Cubix, from Eric there. But that's what it costs. Obviously, throwing 6 of the cards in as well. You're getting up there, putting the plugins in, you're definitely getting up there. I suppose all that we can really say is we're still coming in a lot cheaper than a desk, aren't we? And that's just one desk.
Yeah.
That's not 4 desks and all the other stuff, and the reverbs, and and
the money
stuff you just can't buy. Exactly.
The stuff you can't buy anymore. It's been interesting, and I think for me what's been equally interesting is the fact that, there's plugins there I've never used before. And it was quite interesting. It's quite interesting to mix with some limitations, but know that in many ways you have no limitations. We were not going to run out of juice.
Yeah.
But we knew we were. If we'd done, that's a pretty busy session. There's a lot going on in that.
Yeah.
Certainly the biggest session I've worked on with real instruments. I've done a lot of stuff with VIs and stuff, but it's certainly the biggest session with real instruments.
Yeah.
And it's 60 odd channels.
Yeah, 66 channels.
Plus buses.
Buses.
So you're probably looking at 80 channels, 80 phases.
Yeah.
Which is quite a bit.
Yeah. I do think it goes back to what we just said, though, is you get very used to, especially when you're not using DSP, to, go, I love that plugin, and okay, I can run a few of them, but then I'm going to bounce it down, I'm going to turn it off, because I know it's going to start hogging the system, or I'm going to get some, CPU overloads or whatever. With that taken out of the equation, all right, we're working to 96 channels.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
we're on 96 channels.
And that's 96 channels if you use their most complicated, powerful, resource-hungry plugs. Well, most of them aren't that bad. Most of them are usually about 50% lower than that. So if you're working within the realms of that, I can't see... You wouldn't go into a studio, would you, and use a desk and say, well, hold on, where's my extra channels? That's what's lovely about working within a kind of limitation.
Yeah.
And we're using the word limitation so loosely here, but, that's why Led Zeppelin would sit on a desk where every single channel had the compressor, had the EQ that they wanted. That's the golden age of recording, isn't it?
And we've tried to work in a console fashion where we've used the EQ and the compressor and the limiter in the channel strip. Rather than go, let's pull in... There was a little bit of luxuriousness with the Manley Very Move.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But I think that was, that was definitely a virtual analog session, I suppose you could say.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep on going back to that because that's what I believe this kind of system is. That's, you work... And I think that's how UA... market themselves. It's like they're not trying to... They're emulating all this stuff, and they're doing a very good job of it. And I think that's what's so... We worked very quickly there, dialing stuff in, because it's so easy to dial it in. There isn't... The preset list is no more than 20 presets or something, which I know you wouldn't have in the original day anyway, but there's certain other brands of plugin out there. The preset list is like this. And I think UA keep it quite neat and clean. And the results were jaw-dropping. You know, some of that, I think, sounds amazing.
So what we'll do is, at the end of this session, we will run, as has become traditional, we'll run the whole track through, and I'll do my best at getting through all the plugins to show you exactly how we've got them set up, what we're using, and you'll be able to see the routing, stuff like that. So hopefully you found that interesting. Rich, as always, my friend.
As always, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming over.
Yep.
And bringing the box of joy.
Yep.
But for now, I've been James from Pro Tools Expert. He's been Rich from Create Pro. See you again soon for some more ridiculous gear talk.
Bye-bye.